I am a collector. Collector. Try to use that at the next cocktail party that you go to. Walk in there, and when people say, "What do you do for a living?" Say, "I'm an art collector." Something amazing will happen. All of a sudden, you become the focus of the party. The people that love art want to talk to you to find out, what do you collect? The artists in the community, the artists in the party will want to show you their work. Very soon, you're the center of the party. Collectors are very, very respected in the art world. I wasn't born collector. I was born in Iran, as Sam said. I went to America in 1975 at the age of 18. I guess I let everybody know how old I am. To study, like a good Iranian, an engineering program. After studying engineering, I realized my passion and my love was photography. So I went back in school and studied photography, where I learned to become a photographer of products. But like a young 20-year-old guys, I wanted to study fashion photography, something a little more exciting. But in Los Angeles, there was no fashion magazine, so I decided with a group of my friends to start the first fashion magazine in Los Angeles. Something interesting happened. All the photographers that were taking photographs for our magazine start gifting me with their prints to thanking me for allowing them to be in our magazine. I had no idea that the photography had value, that like in any art piece, actually this gift has a value. Before I knew, I had a few hundred photographs, and I was a collector. I happened to be at an auction years later because a friend of mine owed me some money, and he said, "The only way I can pay you if you come in the auction and buy whatever you want." And it happened to be a Marilyn Monroe photographs auction. But Marilyn Monroe was photographed by some of the masters in photography. Because he owed me a lot of money, I ended up buying most of the auction. I came out of the auction with almost 50 prints of photographs of the masters that are photographed at some point in their life for Marilyn Monroe. At the end of the auction, I was interviewed by magazines and newspapers that found it very interesting that an Iranian American has these fascinations with Marilyn Monroe. The truth is, I really didn't know much about her. But I became a published collector. Very soon, every time there was a great image of Marilyn Monroe in some galleries and some collectors, I would receive an email or a call, people saying, "Do you want to see what I have?" And my Marilyn Monroe collection became very famous. Today, 30 years later, I have a few thousand pieces in my collection. I've collected photography, which was my passion, and learned how to collect paintings and sculpture and serigraphs and silk screens and many forms of art. So I wanted to share with you why I collect photography, and why I collect art, and why I collect sculptures. Besides being cool and getting all the attentions at the parties, I've actually made an amazing investment. In 1980s, when all my friends were investing in real estate, I invested in art. And I'm happy to tell you today that my investment is worth threefold of their investment. So there is money to be made in art. But how do you buy the right artwork? I'm going to go through it really quickly. You have to determine why it's an unknown artist, a collector antique photographs sells for $50, while a Jeff Koons object, a sculpture, sells for $58 million. Why Yuri sells one of his pieces for 300,000 baht, and she sells out every piece that she has. Collect what you love is the most important thing that I can advise you, because after all, you have to live with it. And what you love, other people love. So when you buy something, if you buy it because you love it, the chances are it's a good investment because other people will love what you have. Know the artist that you're purchasing for. I remember in the late 70s when Andy Warhol would walk into a room and everybody says, "This guy looks like an artist. Who is he?" And people that knew him was like, "Oh, it's Andy." Know everything that you can about the artist that you're about to purchase. The history of this artist, where he was educated, what was his sales record? Because what you're doing, you're investing in him. You're now in partner with the artist that you just purchased. You want to know where he goes parties at night. So you can be there and say, "This is the artist I collect." When you buy art, one of the most important things to know is whether it's a limited edition or it's a unique piece. Collectors like to buy unique piece. Why? Because we want to own the only one that is available. Because tomorrow, if you're interested in something that I own, I set the price. I'll tell you what it's worth if you really want it bad enough. But the artists want to create limited editions. If I own Mona Lisa, or I own the Rodin statues, the thinker, I could set any price I want. Unfortunately, they're all in the museums and they're not for sale. When you get to the limited editions, the artist would love to create more pieces, obviously, to sell more of the work. Like photography, for example, you have one negative and you can create multiples from it. What is important to know is how many pieces was created. Was it addition of 4? Was it addition of 10? Was it addition of 1,000? The lower the edition of that print is, the more valuable it is to a collector. We want rare things. We want things that are not too many people have. There's other ways. Always look on the side, on the back of the print to find out what is the edition. Is it 12 of 50? Is it 1 of 20? The lower the edition is, the more the value of the piece. There are many photographers and serigraphers and silk screeners that print multiple unlimited editions. These are harder for us to buy because we don't know how many was produced. We don't know if this was produced in thousands or was it just produced 1 or 2. It's very important to know the status of the art you're buying. There are many terminologies in art world. Many of them are produced by gallerists like myself just to confuse my other side, which is the collectors. We create terminology to make things look really important, like limited, unique pieces. Well, if it's limited or unlimited, how can it be unique? Add unique word will increase the value. Because in arts that is created in multimedia, it's almost impossible to create work that is exactly identical. So those are called unique, like this Andy Warhol piece, that in essence is the same piece, but has multiple colors in every one. So it makes everyone a unique piece. Another important point is when you buy a photographer's work or a painter's work or a sculptor's, make sure to know where these collections, where this artist has been bought before. Is he part of an important collection? Is he part of a museum? Is he being bought by any famous collector? You need to know his history of purchases. But most importantly, love what you buy and take care of what you own. When you purchase a piece, make sure it's in a vacuum seal with a UV glass frame. Make sure your investment is protected. Hang it on your wall. Proudly invite your friends and family. Bring them to her house and show them off. Show all the beautiful pieces that you just invested in. Show them off. Show them and share the love of your work. I want to encourage all of you to support the art community, to buy art, embrace art. After collecting art for 30 years, I can tell you this is the best investment that I've ever made in my life. And I encourage all of you to support your art community, to buy art, to share art. If you're an artist, exchange art with your friends and other artists, because you never know what that art will be worth in a few decades. Love art and love what you buy. Thank you.